Howard Cato.
Growing up as a kid in Oakland, when going into junior high school, when when you first get there and you're the littlest kid around there and everything, there's a lot of bigger kids there, and the bullies came out of the woodwork and everything, and things started changing. So a lot of stuff wasn't fun like it used to be anymore. You try to deal with it. I think a lot of kids go to school, and when they first go to school, everyone's knowing that they're going there to learn. They want to learn and do everything. But if you have these things where people are sidetracking you, where you get bullied on because you're little and stuff like that, then how are you able to learn? If the teachers are not doing nothing about it, you come into class, you watch your friend get turned up out of a chair, and everyone's laughing and no one's doing nothing about it, so man. So I started missing school, because I didn't want to go to certain classes because, the bullies was up in there. So why go to class now, and your parents, you can't go to your parents and just say, man, I'm getting bullied at school, this and that. You kind of deal with it, because if you go there, then they're gonna go tell the school, then it's gonna be more problems. So I didn't do that. I just kind of dealt with it for a bit. One time I came to school and I said to myself, man, if this person messed with me again, I was thinking something bad that I was gonna do.
When you grow up in Oakland and you're doing what we have to do to survive, you're not surprised because that's part of the culture.
I started hanging out with certain people, doing things differently, and the trouble I got into, and taking revenge out on people that did stuff to me, and it cost me sometimes going to jail. By the time I was 16 years old, no one could tell me nothing. I didn't show that around my parents because I always stayed in a position around my parents as a nice person because I always respected my mom and my dad.
Pretty much, he just liked it. He was an outgoing person. He had a great personality. He was a normal kid.
So I think he was a good kid, very good kid. So we always just like, family.
But outside of that, I had to go out. I was a different person. And sometimes you have two personalities. So at home, you're that good person. Out on the streets, you're that bad person because you're not finna take it no more. You don't have the last straw, and it's like, enough is enough. So the more you get taught and get bullied, you never know what's gonna happen. So when you see a lot of things that happen in schools and stuff and people snap, you gotta ask, was that kid taunted? Was he bullied? What was going on? Why did he snap like that? Because like I said, I could have been anything in life. In school, I could have got A's and B's and everything, but I didn't get a chance to get the A's and B's because kids mess with you all the time, so you don't want to be at school. Why come to school? It was safer for me to go play Miss Pac-Man and hide out at the liquor store and play all day until school was out.
Well, Howard always, he would sometimes keep things to himself. He would be quiet. But when the violence started, it was just something that happened. That happened. It wasn't something that he went out to go seek or anything. It just happened.
Right. Well, when you grow up in Oakland, if you're doing if you're high in activity in terms of on the other side of criminal element, we all kind of know each other one way or another. So we were very familiar with each other prior to meeting in this courtroom setting. So and then once we got in the courtroom setting, I had already been in trouble a little bit with the program ahead of him, and so I had started to turn my life around a little bit ahead of him, and I was working in the program in a capacity of more of an advocate, and so I was able to give him the same opportunity that was given to me in terms of moving forward and getting our records expunged.
I started hanging out and just being me. I never used drugs. I never smoked weed. I never drank or nothing. So drugs had nothing to do with it. I had a natural high, but my natural high just caused me to let me know that I wasn't taking nothing from no one else. And like I said, after that day, it was a standpoint where No one was gonna touch me again. No one's gonna do anything to me, hurt anyone around me or whatever. And that was my code. So that's what I took into jail. That's what I took in on the streets. Wherever I was at, I was making sure that it wasn't happening no more. So if you was a bully and you was around me, it wouldn't, I didn't care for you. I don't care for him now either.
Basically trying to, survive this concrete jungle that we're in. All those elements always play a part in it. And so, just like myself, and I'm sure for him, we've lost a lot of friends along the way in this journey. So I didn't want him to be one of those friends that I lost. So I was very happy to see him overcome that.
Because where we live, it was a very dangerous environment. And even I could walk down the street and get killed. That's how, dangerous it was in the neighborhood. They weren't involved in that kind of stuff, but there were other people that were involved in that. And if you came into their territory and they didn't know you might not make it out. So, I wanted all of them to protect themselves, not to use a gun. I don't even know if they even have bullets in them if they had guns. But anyway, they, you going from here to the store. There were a couple of their friends that got murdered just going to the store.
I like to try to make changes out here now just because of the situation of that. Now me getting shot back in 2001 was because, like I said, hanging out on the streets of Oakland, doing a lot of stuff and everything. And, it kind of cost my friend his life that same night, and everything. I got shot 7 times. My friend got shot 3 times in the heart. He passed away. Both of us had kids on the way. He didn't get a chance to see his. I got to see my daughter, and everything. But
and when I first moved into the area I moved into, I had never seen anything like this before. Broad daylight, running down the street and people shooting at each other in broad daylight. And I'm like, for a whole year I slept on the floor because it was terrible. I didn't even want my children going to school because they had to go through that neighborhood.
I'm gonna never see my friend again. My buddy that died with me that night. Me and him, we was a crimies. We did things together. We had high school, junior high school, and everything. And to lose someone like that, that hurts. Especially when you don't lost your father, and then when you lose a friend right there, it's like, okay, I gotta make some changes. You sit up in, I sat up in the hospital for almost 2.5 months, so I had a lot of things to think about, what I wanted to do, how I was gonna change my life around. But like I said, everything kept coming through my head with BMX. That's all I was thinking about, the old days, and it was just like, that just kept ringing through your head. But at that same time, you can't walk though, so you wondered, are you gonna be able to ride a bike? Even be able to try to ride a bike. I can't even walk right now, so how am I gonna be able to pedal? So when it did, when I was able to get back on and start walking around, I waited for a while because I still wasn't ready yet, because I still had a lot of anger in me from getting shot and losing my friend and everything. So took a little bit of time, and then I just decided, okay, well, it's time to make some phone calls to the right people here. So, I got on the phone and I had a bike. They got me a bike within about a week, and I was back riding.
Try to go somewhere high, I lose my mind.
Set up.
Somewhere high, I lose my mind.
Well, here's the thing about it is this is weird because we all did BMX to a certain age and then we all kind of tapered off. But deep down inside of all of us, we knew that we always had that. We always knew that if we ever went through tough roads, we knew we could fall back on that again. We knew it was always there. And, you know, Brian can attest, so can Mike. We always knew inside. So when Howard was going through things, we all knew that, you know, everybody's got to go their route. But we knew that we was all going to come back together.
My son was getting ready to be going to college in like a year before. So I was like, man, you know, he had done been on so many BMX teams. I was like, you know what? Let's try to do something for us. You know, let's make a team for us. Let's bring something in where we can help the community, give some back, be able to bring some kids and introduce this BMX to the Oakland area, San Leandro, you know, areas where no one, you know, if they don't know about it. And it took a little bit of time. We all, you know, like I said, we were coming back from one race and you had like 4 heads up in there, everybody thinking of a plan, what we wanted to do and everything. And we put it together and was like, you know what, let's do this. And I was like, yeah, we need a name for it now. Let's find a name, let's try to see what we can do. You know what we're gonna use? We're gonna use 510, Bay Area BMXers. So that's how Bay Area BMXers was made right there.
It was just something that he seen, you know, it was he got into it with the wrong crowd. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time with hanging out with different, you know, the wrong crowd. He got, you know, let different people influence him, but at the end of the day, you know, God gave him a second chance.
When I came back to BMX, you know, I hadn't seen Howard in a while, and he welcomed me right back in, took me around, introduced me to everybody, both him and Brian. And once he started his team, he turned that into a family. And he brings that essence of family to a sport that really requires you to be kind of gung-ho and like not, you know what I mean? Like everybody is each man for himself kind of.
We came out with that, we put it together, and my next plan was to go out and find kids that would be interested in riding. So I went to the neighborhoods and stuff and started talking to kids' parents and asked them, could I bring them to the track and stuff, and we were able to get some permission slips from the parents and stuff, and they let us bring the kids out and ride. So right there, I had already was like, okay, I'm on my way, I'm on to something now. This might work for us. I might be able to get these kids on these BMX bikes and ride and everything, but that one didn't take off right away. Some of the kids stayed in. We had 8 kids, 2 stayed in. So I was upset. I'm like, okay, why don't these kids want to ride? You know, I was upset. But then someone brought it to my attention. He says, Howard, you can't save the world. He said, if 2 of those kids stayed, he said, you saved someone. I just need to get out there track.
They said we already won the award for biggest and best team out.
Howard pushes himself so hard. He passes out at the line. He has one lung. In Reno, you're at altitude. You know what I mean? And he's passing out. He literally on the ground passed out. Needs oxygen. Got back up. Walked off. I mean, just to show the kids that kind of resilience.
And once I started getting a message like that, I understood, because just like BMX, basketball, it's not for everyone. But you know, if that person takes to it, then help them. Get them to the top, wherever they need to go. Some of them might just don't want to do it. You know, it might be a kid, he might have 3 different things he want to do. Skate park, play some video games, or BMX. BMX might be third to in his life. So if that's the case, you got to step back and say, okay, well, I'm gonna work with these 2 right here because they really into it right now. If those others, they got my number, so if they ever want to come back, I'm here for them. Everyone can change. People can change. Don't just. A lot of people, they go to jail and they say, okay, well, I'm always gonna be a career criminal. No, that's not true. You can always change, but if you don't have the tools to change, who's gonna help you? So there's a lot of kids that walk around Oakland right now. They got talent, but if no one's there to help them get there, how are they gonna be able to get it? You know, I've seen it. I've seen it with the basketball. I've seen a lot of guys just waste their talent instead of moving forward with it. They on the corner. You know why? It's not because they want to be there. No one told them, hey, come on over here. Let me take you over here and show you how to play some basketball. So none of that's there. And then one of my sponsors, he runs an after-school program and stuff, and he introduced me about coming up there and doing an after-school program. So that's how I was able to get in and start working with the kids in after-school programs, working with them, getting bikes and stuff, and showing them the activities of BMX racing and being competitive. And it's crazy how it's a lot of kids that's competitive. I mean, they really like the racing, you know, and they enjoyed it. We set them up and they go out there and they race with each other. And now I'm starting to have more girls doing it too. And their defense is real strong. So they out there with their elbows out and riding with the boys, trying to beat the boys and everything and stuff. So I look at that, I said, man, that's a good thing. That's what I want to continue to do. That's what I want to keep my face focused on, just getting these after school programs, get these kids. So that way, if you tire a kid out, by the end of the day, they have no time to go out on the streets and do anything else. You know, that's the whole thing about
You guys are ready.
I got to start. Get the elbows, the elbows. I'm about to kill you. I'm killing you, Roy.
Royce, get ready here.
We started the team because we didn't want to ride for anyone else.
Yeah.
But by the time the 3-hour conversation was over, it was about an after-school program. It was about giving back because we wanted the kids to receive what we didn't get. We wanted to go to the schools, bring bikes to the schools. Like if we'd have had that, like these guys said, there'd have been 30 of us sitting here instead of 3.
Exactly.
Seriously, the next person who does this interview 10 years from now is gonna have 30 people sitting here, and not just this 3 guys talking about, oh well, 30 years ago, this, you know, it's that. The after school program was the anchor. The team is the means. The team is, we have to have a good team in order to get the publicity for the after school program. Otherwise, no one will give you any money. If you got a crappy team and some bad riders and, oh, we're doing this for after school, why are you doing that? You guys suck. You know, but if we have the best riders, the best pro, the best everything, we have the best sponsors. Our sponsors are off the hook. We always have brand new bikes. Everybody's jealous of us. It's crazy. But we put in hard work to get that. No one's giving it to us. We put in our own money. You know, most of the time we spend our own money. I'm like, me and Howard spend money on the team. We buy people plane tickets to the Worlds and stuff because we didn't get that, and we can do it, and we can give back. So I have no problem coming out of my own pocket or his own pocket and giving back to the community that needs it. They need that, man. They're 10, 12, 13 years old kids that wouldn't get this chance any otherwise, and they could end up in the street and end up like he was if we don't do this for them.
And that's what I want to do, because see, growing up, we had too much time on us. You know, if you didn't have nowhere to go, you had time to get in trouble, plenty of time. So that's the thing, is you got to get these kids where you got to tire them out. So that way they won't be trying to get in no trouble. They'll be tired, you know, and just just waiting on the next day. And if you keep them positive and you tell them, okay, I got this bike for you right here, but you can only ride this bike as long as you're doing okay. If I find out you're in trouble or anything, I got to take it away from you. You can't be afraid to take. A lot of parents, they're afraid to take stuff from kids. You know, well, I'm not going to take nothing from them.
Howard's one of the guys that I've never had a bad moment with Howard. I've never had an argument with Howard. We've never been upset with each other. He just has this natural ability, and that has grown over the years.
So I would say, like, my dad is like, he's like my superhero. I may not show it all the time, but that's really my superhero, because you don't get too many fathers who stick around in their children's lives. So at the end of the day, I can support and salute my dad 100%.
As bad as Howard used to be, is as good as he is now.
It's funny because
seriously, that's a true statement, because he used to be into some stuff. We all used to be into some stuff, but as he's giving back, he feels so bad for how he used to be that he will do anything he can for these kids. If you see how he is with these kids love him. Love him. Parents love him.
You always do something, you be like, oh, and then like my dad, he'll be like, oh, don't do that, because you never know what's gonna happen or the bad outcome of it. So I can always say, he's been like number one supporter.
He taught me a lot of lessons. Like, he told me not to do a lot of stuff that I ended up doing, and I look at him like, dang, my daddy told me not to do that, and I did it, and now I learned my lesson. I feel like, dang, I should start listening to him more. So after learning so many lessons, I listened to everything that he told me, and I follow it, and ever since then, life been going good.
I know that all of us with Howard are gonna be friends for the rest of our life.
I also take all my past that I've done.
The flowers here, I'm gonna sit down here with you. Yeah, Ed, Joyce, Alma. Everybody doing okay. Grandkids are doing fine. Making sure that
everything that don't happen to me made me a better person now too, though. Because the changes that I've made, the changes that I done made in other people's lives, friends, family, and kids and stuff that look up to me, they can understand that, I'm not perfect. No one's perfect out here, but, it's how you finish it. And I think I'm finishing it pretty well at what I'm doing right now with my giving back to the after-school programs in my community, trying to help these kids out with my team and everything, the support that I give them and everything. I think that sums up a lot of stuff that I've done, to make me a better person now. But I'm not done yet. But I'm thinking I'm more comfortable. I can sleep now compared to trying to sleep maybe 25 years ago. It was totally different.